So what sort of questions do we have about how people interact and how society is organized? We like to separate positive questions from normative questions. And in economics, we tend to think mostly about positive questions. Positive questions are questions about how the world works, how people react in certain situations, and a description of what is. So positive questions or statements are typically descriptive, more evidence-based, answerable questions. So positive means describing the world as it is. Just as important, if not more important, are normative questions. How should the world work? What should we do? What policies should we adopt? And these are much more complicated questions. They cannot simply be answered by measuring something. Economics focuses primarily on describing the way the world is and the way the world works because it's an academic discipline. It's a science. I hope that your own normative questions are informed by data and evidence about the effects of a certain policy. But we can't go all the way to answering those normative questions. So while economics informs decision-making, there's much more moral and ethical concerns that inform our normative questions and beliefs. All right, so let's just practice distinguishing these two. In this example, we have two questions and we want to identify the one that is positive. So take a minute to see if you can do that. All right, so here we have two questions. Are tax rates in the US higher or lower than in other high-income countries? And would higher tax rates make the US a better place to live? So clearly, number one is a positive question. We can answer this question with information, with data. And that information might affect your answer to the second question. Maybe, maybe not. The second question is a more complicated question because I don't know what it means to be a better place or worse place to live. That's not something that we can answer objectively. One other way you can try to distinguish positive from normative statements are statements of fact, right? Things that can be proven with evidence versus statements of opinion, which would be more normative.